Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated.
My fellow nerds,
Nerdcore used to be just a made up.
Welcome to the new year. 2023 is come and gone. It is now 2024. Why did we fall asleep? Because now every one of us on this State of the Nerd is over 40.
Boo. Boo.
My fellow nerds, we had a good time in 2023, and we're going to look back on that. And we're going to figure out good stuff, bad stuff, and what we're looking forward to in 2024. And with that, my fellow nerds, welcome to State of the Nerd 2024.
I feel like we should be playing like the Imperial March or
Yeah. Well, everyone, welcome to Every Man's Guide to Nerddom. We're back.
we are.
After a month and a half hiatus.
Mhm.
We're
refreshed.
We're refreshed. We're two 40-something-year-olds who talk about pretty much whatever we want. Kyle's rolling his eyes. I'm Chris.
And I'm Kyle, and I hate this intro now with a passion. But thank you guys for being here. Thanks for sticking around and coming back. If you guys want to be part of the community, hang out with us, there's a link in the show notes down below for the Discord. So click on that, join that. Make sure you're liking, following, or whatever on whatever platform you're watching. But join the Discord if you want to be part of that. We have all kinds of different categories for all kinds of discussions going on, from video games, movies, TV, anime, ball sports, Legos, Funkos, whatever you like, it's there. And there's people talking about it. So be a part of that. Awesome, great community that's still growing, even though we haven't really done anything in a month and a half, which that's a testament. Also, if you want to hang out with Chris and myself live, we do both stream on Twitch. You can find Chris over there under Guyver Unit 01, GUYVERUNT 01. Myself under KSIG, K_SIG. We're streaming on Friday and Saturday nights, doing community games on Friday night, just kind of whatever is random and fun and a good like group game. And then we do Spooky Saturdays where we play indie horror games. We've been playing a lot of Lethal Company lately, which has been really, really fun. Chris dies a lot, which is awesome.
Yeah. What else is new? We should probably take a break from that coming up so we don't get burnt out too.
I got so many clips of Chris and Chof both dying in hilarious fashion. So, and more from last night that I could go back and grab. So we'll get that. So yeah, you guys check that out. Hang out with us, and yeah, it's cool to be back finally. Like this little break, unintentional for the most part. I was sick. Chris had life stuff going on. I got sick again, and then holidays, but we're back in the groove now. So it's good to be here.
Well, it is. It is. And we have our usual suspects.
Mhm.
Our State of the Nerd guests from last year as well, and our previous years. So we'll start. I'm going to start in logical order the way my screen's set up.
Okay, that works. I don't know what it looks like on your end, but we'll go with it.
So first off, we've got Mr. BRob. Mr. BRob is one of our local experts with all things Marvel, Star Wars, sports related. You name it, he's kind of a cornucopia of nerd knowledge.
Like a sponge.
A sponge. And
yeah,
usually he has some good stuff to say. Usually.
Most of the time, yeah.
Most of the time.
And as of this year, I'm an expert in fantasy football, evidently.
Like I say, he's the reigning champion, so congrats.
The reigning champ of fantasy
The
football.
Dark Horse.
So Mr. BRob's with us. Welcome, Mr. BRob.
Yep.
Thanks for having me.
We've got Dr. Justin, our resident expert, our resident expert in all things MST3K, Flash, DC, Harry Potter, books, just Star Wars, also nerddom in general.
Tie-dye shirts, even.
Tie-dye shirts. He's Knuff.
Unfortunately, not fantasy football as I would hope as well. But hey, third place is okay.
And I will begrudgingly say probably has the best hair on the panel right now.
Oh,
It-
absolutely.
It pains me to say that. It really does.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
First, he had this luscious long hair, and now
Yeah.
it's just gorgeous.
You had like almost a formal mullet at one time, and now you're to
A
this.
fullet.
As a
Yeah.
fullet, yeah.
It'll happen again. It'll happen again.
Summertime
And
is coming.
then, and we got Chof. Okay, and now we move on.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah,
No,
you guys, for some reason, we can't. Yeah, Chof's panel's not popping up, but he's here somewhere. He's lurking in the shadows, doing Chof things. So,
The Chof things. Chof is here, our resident expert in all things Weird Al.
Mhm.
Also, Mr. Chof's got a birthday coming up.
All right.
happy early birthday.
Thank you. Getting older.
So, getting older. So, what we talk about, Kyle, what's the format? What do we do on State of the Nerd?
So, our State of the Nerd, what we've done in the past and what we'll do with this one is just kind of talking about all the things that we enjoyed or that we disliked from the year past, from 2023. We're going to talk a little bit about things coming up in 2024 that we're excited about, as long as we can kind of fit it all within our time frame. We're going to dedicate a pretty decent little section to talking about those that we lost in 2023. There was a lot.
It was a big list.
There was a lot, and I don't like. The list is always kind of big, but and we narrowed it down to, like took a lot off to mostly like kind of nerdy pop culture stuff. A lot of NASA people actually, I noticed off the list. So that's out there. We'll spend some time talking about that, the ones that like affected us, and then we'll also, like I said, we'll talk about some things that we're excited about in the upcoming year. I think we all kind of had different experiences. I know, like Chris and you guys consumed a lot of TV and movie media. I consumed a lot of video game media. Chof consumed a lot of beer, and so we've got all these different things that we can talk about. So that's why we like having a panel like this, because we've got all these different angles, and we can, since we all can't do everything, we can kind of all get together and cover almost everything.
Mm-hmm. So, with that, let's start off with our look back of 2023. We're going to start back. We're going to start with notable TV shows. Let me preference that these lists are our lists and our list alone. You may not agree with them, which is fine. You can have a difference in opinion. We just kind of narrowed down just ones that we thought were nerd worthy, because, some of them, like, I could give a rat's ass about romance shows, like the Sex and the City stuff, like not my thing. Maybe your thing. So be it. If you think that's notable, let us know.
Yeah.
So with that, we will go over a couple of big shows. Well, some of the big shows this year. We'll start off with Invincible season 2.
Yeah, I know you were excited about that.
Yes. We started it. We haven't finished it yet, but so far season 2 has been pretty good. Invincible, of course, based off of the Robert Kirkman comic. That is kind of a DC clone. What would happen if Superman was sent to actually invade our planet and had a kid?
Yeah, definitely does feel
it,
more DC than Marvel.
It is. It's. I mean, it's a DC clone, is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marvel never had that Superman type, I don't think, really.
I guess the closest
Sentry.
Sentry would be Sentry.
Yeah, he wasn't even that popular, I think,
Right.
growing up. So,
Well, and when was Sentry? 90s, late 90s, early 2000s.
Like 90, I think.
yeah,
Give or take.
that's when I first ever, I think, heard of him. So,
Reservation Dogs season 3.
So good.
Fantastic. Justin's our resident William Knifeman.
Yeah, it's especially for those that are familiar with Oklahoma, like that's the Oklahoma I live in, not the Tiger King guy. That's
Not Joe Exotic.
yeah.
I live in both. I don't know about
I'd
you
say
guys.
I'm in both. Like, I think that's Oklahoma's both.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm in like the
Merge
hometown
borders so
of
easily.
Res Dogs, and I can guarantee you it's both right here.
I may be in denial about the whole Tiger King thing, but yeah, it was especially the one of the nice parts about this last season was when Ethan Hawke came on and was introduced as the dad and all of that was filmed 2 blocks from my house. And
Was
I
it
was like,
really?
oh, hey, I know that. Oh my God, that's literally right by my house. Because they filmed all right off of 31st and Harvard. If for those
Oh wow.
That one
interested.
of Doc Justin, yes.
So traffic sucked.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't know. I thought maybe coming back from school, I would have seen them or something because I passed that every day. But I
Is
didn't.
that why in that one scene, Justin, there it was blurred out? It might have looked like your house with this dude just butt naked at the door.
Well, I wore a shirt.
Oh, okay. Okay,
I,
you Winnie
Winnie
the Pooh
Poohed
it. Yeah.
I am classy.
I'll
full,
duct it.
full frontal is the new, classy, especially for FX with prestige television. So, but yeah, it was great. I think it ended just perfectly. Like
Mhm.
every beat was just good, and I think it's really funny that it ends and Echo premieres just a couple months later,
Yeah.
and it's great to see so much indigenous with Res Dogs, with Echo, with Killers of Flower Moon. All these, it's good to see more indigenous stories. But did they have to take the entire cast from Res Dogs to Echo? It seemed like it's like there's a lot more indigenous people out there, but I liked both for sure. I
I-
just that was kind of funny.
I mean, they're both Disney properties. I bet they just said, "Okay,
Yeah.
here, go to
You're
this,
still
go
under-
next door, go next door,
You're
go,
under
go,
contract.
go."
And honestly, like
Yeah.
it's a business. That's a fairly smart move. I mean, you're taking recognizable faces and you're going to ride that out, And yeah,
It
I
is,
agree.
but
There's so many more out there that they could use, but that's, I mean, business is business. That's going to draw more
Like
people
why
in.
the iron's hot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right, but at the same time, you get that Tim Tebow kind of deal where Tim Tebow was one of the most amazing college football players of our time, and everybody hated him because the media shoved him down your throat. So it just
True.
becomes
Yeah.
overkill and starts
You can
turning
get
people
overkill
off.
and burnout.
Yep.
No, it was just the under eye thing that drove people crazy.
You might have
Uh,
explained that.
yeah, go with that.
Oh, that he just he always had like stuff written on the under eye make
Oh, that.
Oh, yeah.
sticker on his eye. That's why I hated even seeing him.
Tebow, okay.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
with you. I'm
Tebow.
with you now. BRob, I know you're a huge fan of this show, and I have yet to see it. So why don't you take this next one?
Man, Reacher, rarely do you come across a TV series adapted from a book that just knocks it out of the park. Changing very little, but just following, there's 30 plus books in the Reacher series. And for the first 2 seasons, they've definitely picked the right books to get this thing started. Alan Richardson does an amazing job. If you don't know who that is, he was Hawk.
Hawk and Titans.
He was Thad in Blue Mountain State. He had a part in the last Fast and Furious X as one of the bad guys. So
He's just awesome.
amazing, just amazing. He's just the embodiment of that character. Great acting, and then his just physical presence. Where Tom Cruise got the persona down, Jack Reacher is not a 5'6" guy. He's a large man, and Alan Richardson did an amazing job.
Anyone else watch it? I have yet to start it. It's on my to-do list.
No, I haven't started yet. I've been seeing like lots of stuff about it, and it's looks like something I would really enjoy. But I haven't consumed a whole lot of TV this last year. Mine was like movies and video games.
I will tell you, the majority of what I've seen, full disclosure of Reacher, is those YouTube and Facebook reels that they'll do of the show.
Mhm.
Like that's where I've seen the majority of the stuff from. That actually did pique my interest. Like one that always pops up is like, I guess these 3 guys got paid $50 or whatever to beat him up, and that didn't happen.
Mhm.
So it's pretty brutal. It looks pretty cool.
And the lead actor he's been around for a bit, but he was in Hawk and Dove and then went into the Titans and several DC properties. Then he was the main enforcement, good guy, bad guy, whatever you want to call it, on Fast X. And so he's really starting to come up. So the quality of his acting, but he's also just a massive, massive man.
Yeah.
But did you hear they announced just a couple weeks ago that I always say his name wrong, but Ki Kwan, Kehi Kwan.
Data,
Yes.
short round.
Yeah, he's actually going to be on season 3, and so it's going to be called Reacher Round.
God dang it. That one took a little bit to develop. It was totally worth it.
Okay, thank you for that. Thank you.
That was.
Yeah.
I'd watch it.
God.
I totally forgot about the Hawk and Dove TV show, the short-lived TV show. I totally forgot about that one.
Yeah, back when DC Universe had its own streaming and all that before HBO Max and all of
like
that.
when they did Swamp Thing, and I refused to finish it after they canceled it after episode 2.
Yes, and it was actually good.
Well, they're getting ready to come out with another one.
Yeah, true.
Let's really quickly before we dive in, hit on that what you were talking about with HBO taking on all the DC stuff and like Max. Like, I was super excited about that because I've been able to dive into some stuff that I've never been able to watch, or I could have watched, but it's just like all right there now, and I'm happy with it because it's free because I have it with my AT&T stuff, and so I think that was a good move by HBO. 100%, like to get that out there. And we got so much of the cool DC animated stuff that I've been wanting to watch forever that I'm finally getting to watch now.
You're about to get pissed.
Oh no, what I missed?
They're getting ready to purge most of that.
Yeah.
Why? Where did I miss that?
Because the new CEO believes that we shouldn't have anything for free and we should have to pay for all this, quote unquote.
Yeah, whenever it was first HBO Max, and they first started getting the DC stuff, and then they got the Cartoon Network stuff, Adult Swim. So they had Crunchyroll, they had Rick and Morty, they had DC. Like, I was all in, especially with all of the other HBO stuff. Then when the Discovery Channel, and then it just became Max, then it started opening itself up to a lot more like 90 Day Fiance type of bullshit. And some people may love that. Good for you if you do. But so I think since the Discovery merger, it's watered down, and it's going to get watered down even more, as Chris points out. But things like Aquaman and other things, if you don't get to see it in the theater, it's going to be on there. And like Kyle, I've got it for free with my AT&T, so I'm all for it. But yeah, unfortunately, all of streaming is going to look differently in 2024 because they just keep taking stuff off and taking stuff off. And if you don't have a series on there, then you don't have to pay those actors and those writers and all of that. So streamline, cut stuff out, which sucks for us, the consumers.
Yeah, it's getting too spread. I mean, in my eyes, too spread out.
Well, it's turning into cable again.
Yeah, it is.
That's the whole reason why got the cord, and now it's like we're back to it.
Yeah.
Just means 2024 is the year of the pirate.
It honestly, like, I see that coming.
It's coming back hard. Like with the stuff with Sony also, like there for a little bit they were like cutting out a ton of TV shows that people had bought. Like, it wasn't streaming, but they were like, "Oh, you can't use them on our platform anymore." Blah 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 because of rights. Because it comes down to the whole: you didn't buy, or you buy digital, you don't own it.
Yeah,
you're buying the license. The license went out.
Yeah.
So the year of the pirate is coming back hardcore. I guarantee it.
That would be a good episode for us to talk about. I saw this meme earlier.
How to pirate and get away with it.
That too. Are you going to pirate the show? I saw this meme yesterday that actually made a lot of sense. So Ubisoft's director of gaming development or whatever said, and which pissed off the nerding community, as well it should, because it was inflammatory. He said, you need to get used to that you don't own any of these games. We own it. We can take them back at any time. If it's digital, we own the games.
But
even if it's physical.
Exactly what he said, though. Still,
it's basically
because he was referring to he's saying, like, if you read, like, because I listen to gaming podcasts all the time. They talked about it. I went and looked it up. and I agree with you. It made people mad, and where he's going is not right. But his quote is saying for Netflix type gaming stuff to take off, people are going to have to get used to not owning it.
Yeah, he's talking
That's
like
what
the
he's
game,
saying.
not gaming
Like,
as a service, but like Game Pass and
yeah,
That kind
of
he's saying with
stuff.
the Game Pass stuff. Like
Yeah,
he's
I
saying,
stand
if,
corrected.
like if you, yeah, like, but again, you're right because the way he's coming off
Yeah.
sounds like exactly what you said, and that's what people are. That, and I think that's because like that guy is not. He's English is not his first language, right? Isn't he like?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was some nuance to it, and you go read like if you go look up the actual thing, like paragraphs before he describes game. He talks Ubi Play and stuff. How you don't own it, so some of that stuff eventually does have to fall off because only one person is playing on the server. Like it's just not financial.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. That's what he was saying. Like for that to actually take off and be a service for everybody, people are gonna have to get used to that. Like they are, and he's saying it because like with Netflix, everything else, we're already used to that because we've dealt with it forever already. Where it's like, oh, we lost the license to Friends, now somebody else has it, so
Yeah.
now you have to go there.
Well, this
Oh, that's
meme I
coming.
saw made a lot of sense yesterday, and it's supposed to have
Yes, I
been
agree with
funny and ironic, but it said if paying for games means you don't own them,
Yes.
then pirating games isn't stealing.
Yep, and that's why I've always been if like Nintendo's a prime example. If you're not going to give me a way to play Super Mario on current hardware, I don't care. Like at that point, it's like, sorry, I can't pull out an NES anymore and it reliably work. But if you gave me a way to buy it for like $5 to play for that nostalgia hit, fine.
Agree.
Yeah. All that the licensing is you would have thought like after years of like with Netflix and then what we've seen. I mean, we've seen this before with the games and stuff too, and like we just the Friends example of it bouncing around from streaming service to streaming service. Like there's going to be some backlash, and I think the piracy side of video games is a little bit more dangerous for the end user than like media, right? Just because of all the executable files and stuff that come with it whenever you download something like that. But the TV and movie side, I've seen so much talk of just acquaintances of mine talking about, well, time to spin the server back up. You know, like because for a long time, like it went down when like Netflix and all that stuff was going good. You could get all your stuff somewhere. Like there was no need for most people to have a personal media server with all their stuff on it that they could pull at any time, unless it was just like a hobby type thing. Mm-hmm. And so your hobbyist kind of kept it going, kept Plex going, and was a Jellyfin and all these other things. But now, like, it's seriously coming back because people are fed up with getting, $8 to $10 to $15 to death to watch a couple of shows here. Then I could go over here and watch it because that's what we all got away. I mean, I haven't had satellite or cable in years. I've had no need for it. And now it's so hard to find anything anywhere. Mm-hmm. Like, and a lot of stuff you can't even a lot of it's hard to even find. It's like if I want to rent it for a day and watch it, and sometimes you can't even find that. And so, yeah, it's, I don't think it'll make a big enough dent in the industry to cause a change because that group of people's not massive, but it'll grow.
It'll grow.
We're going to come back to like the early 2000s Napster era.
So I'm going to kibosh this anymore because this will be a really good and this will be a really good episode.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's
always
Kyle
thinking about yourself.
Adam makes good points. No, I'm thinking about content for later, Chof.
Yeah, we'll have you on that one, Chof.
Oh, okay. Then let's kibosh that sucker.
Gremlins, the secrets of the, how do you pronounce it? Mogwai?
Mogwai?
I started that
ever
one.
watched the movie?
I never finished it.
You not ever watched a movie?
Yes, I've watched a movie.
What is that one even on?
It's it was on HBO, I thought, or Max.
Okay.
Was it
It was pretty good.
And yeah, I didn't watch it.
The Bear season 2, which just demolished at everything this year
So
at
good.
all the award shows.
So good.
So good.
Emmys.
I haven't seen it. Can you guys go over what it is real quick?
Basically, a
Good.
dude, family-owned restaurant. A dude goes off and becomes a Michelin star chef. Comes back to Chicago to this family beef sandwich store and tries to continue the family business, but it's just not sustainable. And so he, at the end of season 1, closes it down, and season 2 starts up a new restaurant, or it's about starting up a new restaurant. It's so good. The writing, the acting, it's a frenetic almost type. The Christmas episode alone, and anyone that's seen it, the Christmas episode is one of the best hours of television I've ever seen.
Really?
And it's I'm not an anxiety filled person. I'm always like a Zen cow, man. But that episode, I was like, oh God, the entire time. Oh, it was just so good. And really, I think it put Jeremy, oh shoot, what's his last name?
White.
Yes, thank
Wait,
you.
Jeremy Allen White or something like
Jeremy
that.
Allen White. So it really put him on a path, because he was kind of known with a couple of things here and there, but it was like, a show on Showtime or this or that. And now I think he's, especially with Iron Claw and Fingernails, a movie that just came out not too long ago on Apple Plus. Like, I think it really catapulted him into stardom. But yeah, it's incredibly good. So if you like family drama, if you like restaurant, if you like high pressure, it's also pretty funny too. So
That's great show then.
heck yeah.
Yeah,
The
for sure.
awards were well deserved.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. We got another one that just whooped up. Beef. Steve Yeun got Best Actor, which was, and this is what's nuts. Asian American got Best Actor. Asian American got Best Actress. And apparently it's based off of the guy who wrote it and directed. It really happened.
Hmm.
I was watching an interview. He said, yeah, thank you to the lady who, this is based off of and how this happened, because it made for a really good show. I've heard that there's a season 2 possibly in development too.
What's it about? I don't think I even heard of it.
Road Rage.
Oh, okay.
I think I
Best way
saw
to put it.
And then one upping each other. So road rage,
The whole
and then
time.
someone does something, so then the person then one ups them, and then the other person one ups them, and it's all about getting even revenge, but basically losing control in your own life, so you're taking it out on someone else and trying to, there's a lot more to it, but it's pretty good.
Poker Face, another big one. I believe that's Natasha Lyonne.
Mm-hmm. Written and directed by Ryan Johnson.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that was my pull into it, because I wasn't a huge Natasha Lyonne fan.
Mhm.
But hey, if this is a weekly series of Glass Onion every week, something like that, then I'm all for it. And it was awesome. It was so good. So good.
It didn't get renewed though, didn't it? Or something? Or is it still in hiatus?
There's
still something going on that I was hearing about with that.
Yeah,
one.
but a lot of that had to do with writer strikes and everything else. And so some of that's getting ironed out.
All right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Gen V, spinoff of The Boys. Phenomenal.
I haven't watched it.
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Oh, it's so
Did you
good.
guys watch season 2 of The Boys?
I only got through season 1.
Yeah.
You
I
remember
I started season 2 and
You remember the wiener scene?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Gen V goes beyond that.
more.
Yay, Beyond Wieners.
Vegan Kyle
this
thing.
isn't George R.R. Martin and floppy wieners, floppy wieners.
What if Ant-Man gave you a handy? Something along those lines.
Yeah, think of that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Which version of Ant-Man?
Yeah, wouldn't it be a whole body?
If the small Ant-Man gave you a hand.
Not Giant Man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay,
if-
okay. That would actually make me feel pretty good, better, about myself. So
Yeah, make you look huge.
Multiple Star Trek shows. Picard season 3. What that was the end of it too, wasn't it? Picard.
yeah.
What else? There's like 2 or 3
Beyond
others.
New Worlds or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, the animated one.
Multiple Star Treks. The Last of Us, which was a great show, season 1. Nick Offerman, who actually won an award for
I
his
saw
portrayal in
that.
that.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, that was completely changed from the game or
Right.
television, but I thought it was really well done in how they did it.
Yeah, similar to Justin, because he's like absolutely right. The Christmas episode of The Bear season 2 is one of the best shows. I felt like Nick Offerman, that part
Episode,
that episode was top 3 for me for sure.
So good.
Nice. And that's saying a lot for BRob too.
Yeah, to like something.
Yeah.
No, I like good things. I don't like travesties.
Let's see.
Real quick before with Star Trek,
Mhm.
that Picard season 3 was actually Next Generation season 8. And
Was it really?
it
Yes.
was fucking fantastic.
They gave you what you didn't know you needed.
Exactly. And it stuck the landing so well.
Yeah, very good.
It was amazing. It was so good.
Nice.
Yeah, all of them have been pretty good. But that was just, exactly what BRob said. Didn't know I needed it. But man, I'm so glad it exists.
But it was there.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't going to watch it, and a friend said, "Well, you like the Next Generation?" I was like, "Yeah, you need to watch it." Okay. So,
And you were
I need a
blown away.
Voyager continuation now.
Oh, I would love a Voyager continuation.
Some Deep Space Nine. I want to know what happened to that space station.
The Junkers got it. The Scavengers. Percy Jackson started in 2023 and carried over, so we can talk about Percy Jackson in 2024, next year's Snarky too. I will tell you, BRob called it because he started watching it before I did. It is probably one of the best series out there right now.
My oldest has started watching it, and she's been going on about it, how it's like she's really deep into the backstory of how the show itself came about, not just the content of the show, but how it's just like a full-on reboot, and they're just doing it fresh, doing it better. And so she's been watching it. I need to hop in and get caught up on it so I can watch it with her.
BRob, you want to talk about it real quick?
yeah,
What's
I mean,
different?
I said last year that this was something I was very excited for in 2023, and it has definitely lived up to the expectations. Rick Riordan is an amazing writer. He does such a good job. I'm such a good fan of Greek, Roman, Egyptian mythology anyway, which he has a book series for all 3 of those. But the fact that, my boy, he asked for some Percy Jackson. So he got the graphic novel set for Christmas. And, so he killed all those before the season came out. And then he started reading book 1 and just being able to follow it along. And it stays pretty true. They change a few things up. But the acting's great. It's a very different take. Rick Riordan's actually involved in this compared to he was not involved in the movies, which makes it that much better. It has his blessing.
The actors
him
are
and his wife's
appropriate
blessing.
age.
Yeah, the actors the appropriate age. They're bringing Adam Copeland, aka Edge, for pro wrestling fans to play the god Ares, who does an amazing job. I don't know if anybody saw his work in like Vikings, but he's pretty solid in those type of roles. But I think the one casting that really threw me for a loop, and I can't remember his name, but he played the brother-in-law in The League, Rolo El Cunado, Rafi. So he is Dionysus, Mr. D, in Percy Jackson. And so every time I see him, I just think about all the outlandish things he did on The League, and it's pretty funny. So.
Oh, what's it? Jason Mantzoukas, yeah.
Yeah.
He's amazing to begin with. Like, he was great in Harmon Quest.
Yeah, his podcast is really good too.
Good.
What's up, jerks?
It's just a solid show. Like, they've changed. How much would you say they changed from the book? in the TV show?
I mean, so they changed some cities. They added in a couple of characters. Um, some characters do a little bit more than they did in the book, similar to like a Neville Longbottom for Harry Potter. Maybe not to that scale, but I mean, it's amazing.
It is.
I just really, they don't change. I mean, it's very Game of Thrones like. They don't change a whole lot. I felt like Game of Thrones didn't change a whole lot anyway. So, and that's what I enjoy. I like to be surprised in some areas, but I always feel like when the casting is spot on, the author can get behind the series. Man, it's been great. So that and then Reacher 2 were like two of the things that I was the most excited for this year.
Well, to be fair on the Game of Thrones reference, they ran out of stuff to change. So,
right. Yeah, we still don't know. We may
still
never
don't
know.
Yeah.
I'll
I
tell you
doubt
the
we will.
Medusa scene on Percy Jackson.
Oh.
That was phenomenal.
So yeah, to your point, so they changed that a little bit. They flipped the script into kind of an abuse of power type thing. You know, Percy's mom says something early in the series. You know, all heroes aren't the heroes that you think they are. All monsters aren't the monsters you think they are. So that take on her and Poseidon and Athena, that whole kind of story really was really good in multiple layers. So it's pretty deep. I probably a little too deep for the kids that are going to be watching it, but the adults and older teens, they're really going to enjoy it.
The three main characters, I will tell you that I think that casting was spot on. Like, I'm really enjoying the Grover, Annabeth, and Percy. The actors who are playing them, they're doing a great job. Next, Loki. Season Dose. Phenomenal. Data was great as OB. Everyone actually did a good job. Like, I know that he's convicted now, and that's pretty scummy if you know what he did, but Jonathan Majors did a fantastic job. Fantastic job as Kang, as Victor Timely. Like, it was just, the whole thing kept me glued and wondering what was going to happen. And then the final scene, it was just goosebumps.
I just don't think that, you know, it's been pretty limited. I think you just have to get rid of him. I don't think you can recast that.
No,
He
you
did
can't.
that, to me, he did that phenomenal of a job in a pretty limited amount of screen time. I just don't think you can. I think you have to make the switch to Doom and Galactus.
Yep. And I think that's what they're planning on doing. Which I think,
which sucks.
Yeah. Luckily, everything's about the multiverse, so it's very easy to switch someone in, as opposed to, you know, phase 1 of MCU or something.
Right.
But yeah, it's the whole situation sucks, and we'll see if there's any blowback or, you know, anything else like that. But yeah, unfortunately. But the series was, for me, it was like Endor. I was like, man, he's already dead. Why is there a series coming out? And, you know, with Andor, it was like, okay, well, this is a prequel to a one-off. Why do we need this? And both shows were probably the best of each of those those groups. You know,
I still haven't watched Andor.
Oh man, so good. And season 2 is getting ready to
start filming.
Yeah. So but yeah, that both of them were amazing. And the way that it reintroduced Loki as a main character and explained, you know, death and not death and
redemption.
Oh my God. It was so good. And anything dealing with time travel, I'm in. And so I was just waiting every week for it to come on so I could watch. So good.
Sylvie was great too.
Yeah. And Oklahoma made an appearance in there too.
Yeah. So yeah, that's another episode that I want to do later, is like the ramifications. I think that would actually be a great episode. The ramifications of Jonathan Majors and where Marvel's gonna go from there. I'd like to get some predictions from you all, and that'd be a good episode too this year. So look forward to that one. Next, the new Scott Pilgrim animated series. I have yet to watch it, and I love everything Scott Pilgrim.
It was good. It was really good.
I heard they changed it from the book.
They changed it somewhat.
Okay, but it's still pretty faithful.
It's still pretty faithful, but it's a little different. And the the animation's amazing. They have the same voice actors from the movie, so that was awesome. And then the changes that they made, I think, were actually really good. Um, and so it's not you're not just watching the animated version of the movie; it's a whole new retelling of it, but it still stays pretty faithful to everything.
Awesome.
It's very good.
Yellow Jackets was last year. Christina Ricci, one of the Arquette sisters, one of the 18. Basically, I haven't watched it, but they're starting to. Well, I heard that they're going to start filming, but there's some issues right now. I heard money possibly because the stars are asking for more. But it tells the story of I don't know if they're a soccer team. They're some sort of team crash in a jungle, and they're lost for like what, a year, 2 years, something like that.
I remember
And they
seeing
go
the not the preview or whatever for it. I've seen it pop
synopsis.
up so many times, and I've never
Yeah.
started it.
I remember reading the synopsis for it, but it's basically these girls go Lord of the Flies,
Mhm.
and there's like cannibalism and death and everything, and like Christina Ricci's character, it time skips between present day, and all these characters are in their 40s now, and when they were in high school, like Christina Ricci's character was like this mild mannered, like she was like the water boy, basically the sports manager, who ends up becoming like
She
the
was the
queen
Guyver.
bee. Yeah, the Guyver, and becomes the most like brutal out of all of them. And it's just supposed to be good, and they don't talk about it now. And just supposed to be a great show. American Born Chinese. I really, really loved that show, and Disney canceled it. So there is no damn hope for a season 2. Michelle Yeoh was great in it.
Yeah, what I wish they canceled.
She-Hulk.
Yep.
They basically already have, I believe.
Well, then I read something that it's coming back. There's a possibility it might come back.
Well, yeah,
I don't know. She came out and like they asked her, and she's like, "Nope, haven't heard anything." And I think that was like a couple of weeks ago that interview came out.
It was last week that they said that it might be coming back out again. Late
I
last
missed
week,
that
I
one.
believe. But it makes sense because they said that I guess each episode cost $25 million.
Yeah, like it's gonna be even like not worse. I don't
Dang.
want to say worse, but it's gonna be like there's gonna be less She-Hulk in
You can say
season
worse.
2 if they make it.
You can say what is it?
What We
Born
Do in the
Chinese was good, though.
Shadows, season 5. Phenomenal show. If you haven't watched it, don't need to talk much about that. Big one for all of us, Ahsoka. I enjoyed it. I got pissed off at the end of it.
Mhm.
So, and I think we're all kind of in the same boat with that one. It left me with no sense of closure, although I'd loved seeing all the Rebels characters live action. That was pretty cool.
What did you think about Rosario's portrayal of Ahsoka?
I liked it. It's just she's like, we all know, like with us, with age comes the wisdom and knowledge you get, and like kind of a little more maturity. And I think that that's how she portrayed Ahsoka.
I don't know, she just seemed salty the whole time. And I get it. Like everything in her life, I get it. But at the same time, and there's like a fun, playful, inventive side to Ahsoka that I just didn't see throughout that entire thing. I don't know. I wanted more from it. I did.
Yeah,
I loved that
I
it
think
was
we all did.
I love the continuation of Rebels for sure, and be able to see that live action was
Rebels
awesome.
season 4.
Basically
Or
kind of like
5.
Picard was, but at the same time, eh, I don't know. I think maybe Dave Filoni's getting a little too spread out, and his stuff is getting a little bit predictable, I guess. I don't know.
Mm.
I just wanted more, but I also had really high expectations, and that's not necessarily fair. So, and I
Right.
acknowledge that. So
Yeah, I mean, I had the high expectations too. I thought she did great. I think that I'm a big Rosario Dawson fan. I'm a huge Ahsoka fan, and from the book to her portrayal, and the saltiness that you're talking about, that kind of just reminded me of kind of how petulant Anakin was there for a while. So I think there were just different things she was channeling in from the Jedi that she was exposed to, and then just remembering freaking life that she had after all that happened, the unknown, the uncertainty, what happened to him, then finding out what happened to him. And so I think she did. I really enjoyed it. The closure part, I get. Yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I hate that Ray Stevenson is not going to be in. I thought he was amazing.
Yes.
I think the part that was missing for me is between him and I can never remember her name, his Padawan or whatever she
Oh,
was,
yeah.
associate.
Little Russian girl.
Crazy guys.
There wasn't enough backstory for me to be able to really buy in to be credible threats. At least with Morgan Ellsbury, you had some of that. I thought that Dathomir stuff was kind of a reach. But to your point, Justin, I think that he's got a lot of tried to combine and put too much stuff in without backstory to make it make sense for me and to get me engaged with those villains. And then the whole Sabine thing. I love Sabine. I think she's an amazing character, but I don't remember any point where she was force sensitive. And so, similar to the whole Leia thing, just kind of jumping right into that without really any flashbacks or really anything is a big reach for me with all the source material and everything you have. And in Sabine's case, you don't have the source, so just make it and give a little bit more. So I think that those were my biggest things about the series, but I still loved it.
I think we can all agree two of the greatest parts of that series, though, were one was the Vader Ahsoka meeting. Two, well, I guess three. David Tennant as Hu Yang.
Yeah.
He was great at that. And then three, live action Thrawn.
For sure.
He did great at that. I mean, it was exactly what you thought of Thrawn. We're gonna kind of go a little quicker on some of these. You guys jump in on any of these so we can at least get through this list here.
Yeah.
Futurama season 11, which was really good.
I was so hyped for that. I got like a couple episodes in, and then my sidetrack kicked in. Yep.
Well, it was great when they were basically making fun of Hulu.
Oh yeah, that very first episode was.
But they've done that in like every time they make fun of the other networks. That's getting to be an old hat. Like, I hope. I don't know how it ended because I didn't watch it, but I'm really hoping they just like kill Futurama until years down the line or something and put money into it. It just feels like they're bringing it back at times for a cash grab and not like.
I don't know.
Really
I thought season 11 was really good. I thought it was very well written, so I'll disagree with you on that respectfully.
Disrespectfully disagree.
Respectfully.
Yeah, no respect. No respect.
Wheel of Time season 2. I haven't even started that yet. I liked season 1. The One Piece live action.
I've heard
they did a great
good
job
things
on that. Yeah, and they basically condensed the whole first 3 arcs in there into 8 episodes, and it was really good. The cast did great, and the source material. If you do a search for that, you can see the side by side, and it's almost shot for shot what the anime is. That's why it's so well received.
So me and the kids, we started plowing through finally, so props can get off my back, and I think we got 22 or 25 episodes in just the anime because I wanted to watch because I want to watch the live action, but I want to watch up to where the live action is with the source, and then I'll roll over and watch the live action. We just haven't
got like another 25 episodios.
I know we're getting there though.
What, you got another 990 before you're done?
I don't even want to think about
that. Mandalorian season 3. I thought they did a good job on it. There was some stuff I was kind of on it. I thought was a little forced, but for the most part, I was still pleased with it.
It ended so good though.
Yes. Monarch.
I'm about to start that.
It is good.
Pretty good.
And here's what
it is good.
Somehow I was completely in the dark, and I don't know how about the whole new Godzilla, not multiverse, but the connected universe with the Godzilla movies and Skull Island and all that. Me and the little guy watched Skull Island like a week ago, maybe. And I was like, man, it feels like there's some more here. And I got to look like, holy crap, there is a whole thing going on. Then I saw
All
Monarch.
connected.
Yeah, so now I've got to go back and start at the beginning and then get my way and then start watching Monarch.
I'm trying to navigate because in the movie theaters, there's Godzilla -1. There's also Godzilla X Kong or something.
X Kong, the New Empire.
Give it to you.
So I'm like this whole multiverse of Godzilla, just monsters, I guess. I don't know how it relates because I was watching the Monarch thinking, okay, it relates to this, but Godzilla -1, it doesn't seem to, and so it's really.
I don't think it. Yeah.
So, no, it's not. Godzilla -1 is the Shin Godzilla universe. This guy also wrote the Evangelion, some of the new Evangelion movies, the animes. But so this is two totally separate things.
See, as a DC guy, Justin, you should be able to navigate this well.
100%. But yeah, no, it's so.
Think of Godzilla like Batman.
Was a reboot of Godzilla, basically. It's like none of the previous Godzillas ever happened. And then -1 is the successor to that. So anything before that, like the Toho universe with Godzilla is just, it's multiverse. It's branched out. Not everything is connected. So this is is it Legacy Pictures? Who's the studio that does it all? The new Godzillas and Kong.
I'll look real quick.
Legendary. Legendary Universe is its own thing.
Yeah,
so
you have
King Kong, Godzilla. That's under their umbrella.
I'm trying to find
supposedly a Mothra movie coming up.
Yes, I did see that because you have that monster, not MonsterVerse, but oh crap. What do we have? We had Skull Island. We had
King Kong.
We have Godzilla X Kong is going into that. We had
Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yep, Godzilla versus King. So that's all that universe, and they're released out of chronological order. So there's more.
Monarch ties it all together.
Yeah.
So that's
also the Skull Island TV show that's like animated is a spinoff of that.
Oh, I didn't know that. I forgot about that one.
Yep.
It makes a lot more sense with the Monarch show because it's actually kind of confusing if you're not familiar with it because it goes past, present, future, present, future, past, future, past, present. Past. It's like, wait, where are we now? So
yeah, exactly.
It's the Godzilla.
Ties all that in together makes so much more sense.
Godzilla King of the Monsters is the one that ties into that universe. The one in 2019.
Oh yeah, I forgot about King of the Monsters. Ted Lasso season 3, the finale. Strange Planet was last year. Also, Strange Planet is by Dan Harmon. It's a really kind of cool little show. It's these nameless, faceless characters and have the most generic speech ever.
Oh, they're like the little alien that you see the memes about all the time. I didn't even know that was a thing. Yeah, I didn't know that was a show.
And instead of thank you, they say gratitude.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I see that all the time on Facebook, like little comics of it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's interesting. Jury Duty.
Oh my God. I watched like
hilarious.
The first couple episodes of that, and it was so funny. That poor dude.
Oh, it's great. It's like the new what was it? The Joe Schmo show. Basically what it is.
Yeah.
Witcher season 3. Which I know Brandon BRob was very excited about.
You can see it all over his face.
Yes, all over his face. Season 2 of Shadow and Bone. Haven't started it yet.
I haven't either. I loved the first season of that. I didn't know there was a second one. So yeah, missed that too.
And then we had the new Doctor that was last year too, at the end of last year. The 4 episodes were really good.
Really good.
I'm really interested in to see what the future brings, even though we can't talk about it for this year because it's not slated till 2025.
We got time.
And they just fired Ruby Road.
We'll release like 4 or 5 more episodes between now and then.
Yeah,
and we'll be
they
able to
fired
get,
Ruby
yeah.
Road on Friday.
Hmm.
The actress.
Say
And
why?
No, they haven't. Which means to me there was no chemistry on this set because this new doctor is very flamboyant, very nice. First gay black doctor. And the girl was in the new companion was in a Marvel movie, I think they said, or something like that, or a TV show. I can't remember. Notable movies. The number 2 movie, according to Rotten Tomatoes of last year. I put this because it was notable. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Interesting. Judy Blume book. I just thought that was interesting that they put that as the number 2 movie from last year. That's what I said. Godzilla -1, which is one of the biggest movies in the world right now.
Is it on home release now?
No, next month.
Okay.
February. TMNT Mutant Mayhem.
I loved
it.
So good.
I liked it a lot more than I thought it would. I thought it would.
I just seeing the art style and stuff of it going into it, I'm like, it's going to be extra, like, I don't want to say like Nickelodeon-y, but like downplayed.
No, I know what you're talking about.
There was just enough of the old turtleness in there. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Yep.
Like, they didn't like they kept the language pretty clean, but there was still some stuff that got slipped in there every so often. I know enough that like my little guy was like, he just said what I thought he said. Like, yeah,
you have Ice Cube as the main character in the movie.
Yeah. It was. I really enjoyed it. It wasn't
good.
The last Ronin movie I was wanting, but
That's coming.
Is it coming as a movie or a game?
Both.
What? I didn't hear the movie part. Hold on.
The movies, they're writing it. It was delayed because of the writer's strike.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, no, they're doing it, and they haven't said if it's going to be a series or a movie yet.
It's new trailer. Wait, what?
It's gonna all be written by AI.
Probably. The Boy and the Heron, Miyazaki's newest movie, which won Best Animated Film at the Oscars. I can't wait to see that one. One that we were all excited about, Across the Spider-Verse. Part 1.
All expectations.
Yep.
And how many different versions were there of that? From what I heard, like in different regions of the country, there was a different version.
Well,
Like
one of
different ending? What do you mean?
producers came out, I think it was last week, 2 weeks ago, and said that it's basically that movie is about, it's like 1,000 different artists making 10,000 different pictures and put it all together.
Is what it was.
And when you think about all the different art styles that were happening literally at the same time, you can understand that. It was just visually, the first one was like, I've never seen anything like this before. And then you saw with like Matrix and some other movies, whenever that happens, the sequel usually falls short because it's like, oh, they can't just reach that same
level. Yep.
Mind blowing, and this one did. It was fantastic.
Chof, to answer your question, so it wasn't the ending, but there was different parts in there, different scenes in different parts of the country in different theaters.
Gotcha.
Like, so there could have, and it might have been like only 30 seconds or a minute, but hardly anyone saw the same version of the movie.
It's kind of like Captain America's list. Whenever looking at the list of the things to go over, depending on what country it was being shown in, it had a different list specific to that country and pop culture and things like that.
Kind of like the original Clue theatrical release.
Yep, exactly. John Wick 4, which is great. Oppenheimer.
Mm-hmm.
I still have yet to see that.
I'm gonna carve out half a day for that.
Yeah.
Isn't it like 3 hours?
To Killers of a Flower Moon. It's long and it's heavy.
It's one of those that I was told it was really good, so I guess it was really good. But like halfway through the movie, I was checking my watch and like,
so what you're saying is, if you want a good laugh, don't watch this movie.
Yeah, no.
If you want the best belly laugh, you watch that movie, right? Okay, I'm on my own.
But I didn't see the other side of that on this list. The
Oh
So-
yeah. Well, that's why I said put it on there. Yeah, Barbie. Which,
Yeah.
That one, that movie exceeded.
Barbieheimer.
I didn't know what to expect on that. Barbieheimer. Ken drops a bomb in the bathroom again. It was. I was pleasantly surprised at how good that movie was.
It was easily
Agreed.
my favorite movie of 2023, honestly.
Um,
And
like
I did not expect that.
when Barbie was crying and then she fell over, except all stiff in the bed, just like the doll. Like I was dying. And Ryan Gosling did a great job.
Awesome.
I
I
really
didn't
do
know
want
what
to
to
watch
expect
it.
on that. It's
because
It
good.
was good.
I've
It was
heard
a lot
there's-
better than I thought.
I've heard there's enough of that like subtle adult humor in it that
It's
or
an
maybe
adult
not-
movie.
I was gonna
I'll
say
call it.
it's not subtle.
it's
No.
not subtle. Okay, then
No,
yeah,
not
I'm
at
down
all.
for it.
Yeah,
It's good
but-
enough
Hit
where
you over the
kids can
head a
watch
couple of
it,
times.
but it's an adult movie.
Okay,
And Ryan Gosling, I've never seen someone beach like that before. It's just amazing.
He beached. He beached.
The way he beach, it's amazing.
He beached.
Yeah.
Megan. Again, another one I was pleasantly surprised by.
that's on my watch
Um,
list right now that I've been waiting to just sit down and go through.
Watch the uncut version.
It looks so just the creepy factor of it is up my alley.
And they did a great job. You would think this would just be another Chucky or something,
No,
but
It
it
was-
is its own thing, and they do a really good job with it. But it's Bloomhouse, isn't it?
Mhm.
I was gonna say
So of course it's going to be good.
the Dungeons and Dragons movie, Honor Among Thieves. Loved that too.
Loved it.
That was a
Um,
huge surprise.
It was actually one. That was my buddy's movie, so he did a good job on that. Notable music. Was there any music that you all were just thrilled about? Concerts, anything that came out? I'll tell you one that my kid was excited about was the Eras Tour last year. Probably the biggest music event of last year. Anything you guys were excited about music wise?
I discovered
Zach.
some stuff music wise this year that's probably one of my other big media consumptions, which like I think I'm probably the only resident metalhead here, so we got that the like kind of like the resurgence of like metalcore stuff was coming back, so that was cool. And even some AI generated music, which has been like kind of crappy for a little bit, and I randomly like a couple weeks ago came across, and I shared it on Facebook. I doubt anybody listened to it, but still, I shared it out there of an AI generated song called Neon Tide. It's labeled as plankton metal. This guy basically ran his voice through a plankton AI voice filter, and it hits really hard. It's so this is going to be dumb. I'm like, oh my god, this hits really good. And so, I mean, I listened to some of that, like Lorna Shore, and just like any heavy stuff coming through. It was a good year for that type of music, if that's your thing. That's me.
Mine was.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Brent.
No, good.
I was gonna say. Oh, wait.
Justin,
Okay,
go.
you go.
No,
shit,
you
I'm,
go.
I'm muting
No.
my.
No,
muting
you
my-
go.
Is this going to turn into a turnpike thing? It's going to turn into a turnpike thing.
This is the nicest me and Justin have ever been. So the year of agreement continues for 2023, but now it's 2024. So maybe we can get back to our normal thing. But Zach Bryan, I thought Zach Bryan had a stellar year. I was lucky enough to get to see him in concert. I already bought my tickets for the December show in 2024. But Oologah, Oklahoma, Rogers County, representing amazing album. And then the one he just put out with his duet with Casey Musgraves is amazing as well.
Justin.
Yeah, I was gonna say the two albums I really liked. One from someone I already knew, Post Malone, and he's going in a different direction, I think, than he's had, and so he's continuously going a little bit more pop and a little bit more pop, but this even has a little bit what sounds like country on it and some things like that, which I don't like. But piggyback that with Noah Kahan, if you know who that is. It's more bluegrass, and so for some reason I can't stand country, but I love bluegrass music, and so Noah Kahan was really great with his well, you just go look him up. Last name Kohn, Noah Khan. And I think you'll probably recognize his music, but it's pretty good. So those are my two.
Chof?
The Weird Al Yankovic Story original soundtrack on vinyl came out in 2023. So
That was Chof's. Hey,
Man.
no, that's good.
even though
My
the
little
movie and
guy,
everything else came out in 2022.
my son has been obsessed with Weird Al for like the last 2 months. That's all that's playing in the house whenever he has control of the speaker.
Kyle, Chof isn't your son.
I know, officially.
Daddy?
He
Papa?
calls you daddy, apparently, but any notable video games from last year? BRob, you start, because I know there was one that your kid was playing.
Wonder. So Super Mario Wonder, amazing game.
Which is a great game.
Kids really enjoyed it. What else came out last year?
Zelda.
What?
Zelda.
Oh, Zelda. Yeah, that game. Zelda.
I have to be reminded, so it was a great game of the year.
Well, I didn't. I mean, I played it, but he's the one that's been living it. He kills through it. But
one of the top games of the year.
Am
Yeah,
I the only one that was disappointed in that? Like,
Yes.
I
don't know,
I
man.
was
I
I
think
was
it
too
was-
because I didn't like Breath of the Wild, so I wasn't. I didn't.
Oh, I
like-
loved-
yeah.
loved Breath of the Wild, but this one just seemed more.
Tears of the Kingdom.
I was doing more Minecraft and having to look up how to piece together this certain dungeon or whatever.
Right.
Whereas with Breath of the Wild, I could just explore and do things. And this one, there was a lot more to it in the sense of it was less open world and I could go here or oops, don't go there. And then, try to kill this or do that. But this one, it was very much, I just found myself having to, well, I don't know how to do this dungeon. So I'm going to look this up. I know they don't call them dungeons. I forget what they call them, but I don't know. I ended up not finishing it and I put probably 120, 550 hours in Breath of the Wild. And I ended up maybe getting 15, 20 hours into this one. And
Really?
So, yeah, that, and it made it
Kinda
probably
surprises
just
me.
but I could not.
I've heard
Mine,
that a lot on a lot of my gaming podcasts, though. They said the same thing, where it's like they loved it. They go to Tears of the Kingdom. It's like they even say it's like it's more of the same, and I think that's what kicked them back off of it because they got burnt out so hard on Breath of the Wild and not enough changed. So that's what I heard. I hadn't played it.
that makes me feel less crazy. So mine, Hogwarts Legacy was great. I loved it.
No, yeah.
Spider-Man 2 was great.
Yes, Spider-Man
Star
2 was
Wars
amazing.
Jedi Survivor was great. I really liked Midnight Suns. It was a different card-based
Different take.
Yeah. So those were probably my four that I really enjoyed.
Chof?
I have to double up on the Spider-Man 2. It was amazing. I've played all three of those on PlayStation. I platinumed all three of them. So the Miles Morales being the second one in that 3-part. Dredge, game called Dredge, a little indie game.
I forgot about Dredge.
Yeah, an amazing game. I will say Alan Wake 2. I haven't played it, but I've been watching Kinetics stream it, so it's been fun. God, there's so many more that I haven't played, but I know like Diablo 4.
Diablo 4 was a big one. Yep.
The top thing in 2023 that makes my heart so happy is Starfield being fucking horrible. Because I love it. And I mean, I know people have played it that love it, but I'm talking like it kind of got crapped on by reviews. Because like there was literally like, this is boring. And the CEO's coming out, be like, well, space is boring. So it makes me
doesn't
happy.
have to be.
Well, being in space is not going to be boring. Like you
No.
being in space, a space game, yes, it's probably going to be boring because there's nothing to do. But like the way going back to CEOs and how they miss the whole point of things, that made me happy to see like Bethesda and them, like they literally were like taking single reviews and writing comments like that in people's review section. Like they're going to convince people to change their 1-star to 5-star. It's like that cracks me up. Especially since they took it off, like it was supposed to be also probably a PS5 game, and since when Microsoft bought them, they canceled all the PlayStation part. So yeah, I'm glad to see it cost them a ton of money and not really make their money back.
Kyle?
Just some stuff that I played this year. I don't think all of it just released. I know all of it didn't just release, but some things that I got into. I mean, I played a bunch of Elden Ring for a while. Finally, like dove off into that. Still haven't beat it. I've sunk, I don't know how many. I think I'm about 50, 60 hours in, and still like I'm maybe halfway through. Possibly.
No,
well, progression wise,
I've got like 300 plus hours in it, and I'm right at the end and still haven't beaten it.
Okay,
So,
well, that makes me feel great.
Yeah, you got some time.
Yeah, I sunk some
Get
Elden
those
Ring.
rookie numbers up, noob.
I sunk some Elden Ring time in. Just a lot of breaks and things. I was able to take laptop and do that.
He was on a break.
He was on a break. One I had a really good time with was Ready or Not, the SWAT team basically simulator, really tactical game. Played a lot of that on my own and played some with props and Breacher. We had a really good time with that. It reminds me kind of the old school SWAT game that was out forever ago. And maybe with like a little bit of SOCOM thrown in, but just the different approaches to that game was really cool. I don't know if we started playing this one at the end of 2023. I'm going to say it's close enough that we can throw it in there. We talked about at the beginning, Lethal Company.
That came out in 2023.
I'm throwing this out there that has the potential to be probably not as big, but like Gary's mod just because the modding community that has exploded. And it's a Unity game, so they're able to pull so many assets and do a bunch of stuff with it. Super easy, but it's one of those games that it's dumb fun, and you don't get so obsessed with like trying to make achievements and trying to like progress. You're playing it for
you try not to die.
You try not to die.
You don't.
Nope. But it's so much more fun when people die.
Try to.
It is so much more fun. Like even when you do die, like you don't feel like, oh God, I've lost so much progression. Like it's just you have these hilarious deaths. Like,
I got the worst blow job ever by this door that was a mouth last night, and it was all teeth.
And it's thinking like the mimic. Well, it's a mimic mod for it. And then, scared Chof.
It looked like an emergency exit, Justin. I opened it, and all of a sudden this giant mouth with teeth came out and ate me, and that was the end of old Guyver.
So you think of like treasure chest, D&D mimic that, but it's a door that you're trying to escape and you picked the wrong door, which was
It's
great.
even better when they're side by side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we got so many good Chof laughs out of that. So many just random deaths. It's been a blast. I got back into playing Hell Let Loose again. It got full release. Off of I think it was it early access and got full release? I believe so.
It was early access.
Yeah, so it got full release, and it's on Game Pass now. So there's an influx of players on that.
Based.
Yeah, we're not seeing a whole lot on the PC side, but there's some limitations still, I think, with the Game Pass side. And it's got a steep learning curve. It's that whole milsim, big map, like Battlefield, but slowed down, and it's really more of a it's really an RTS game. If you really, really break it down, you're just playing in first person and you're with squads and you're shooting at people, but it's a really strategy, resource-based game with lots of gunplay. So I've been having fun with my shooters, and then some new stuff that we tried. What else did we try? Don't Starve Alone or Don't Starve Together. Been out forever, but we finally kind of started playing that and had a good time with it. I'm kind of patiently waiting for Tarkov updates to come out before I dive off into that again. But it's on the horizon.
So, a mimic Super Mario Wonder, which is one of the best Mario games I think I've ever played. Super Mario RPG, the remake came out, which is a very classic. It's just redone, but it's great. The graphics are really good on it.
That's the only Switch game I have played and completed on my Switch. Yep, that I bought used just for that.
So Chof really liked it. Baldur's Gate 3 came out of early access into full release, which is a huge game. Alan Wake 2, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the game came out, which is a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of fun. Street Fighter 6, one that I was highly looking forward to and still play this piss out of. Mortal Kombat 1. Those were some big ones that I played. I haven't played Alan Wake 2, but that looks like a lot of fun. Yeah, there's just a lot. The Dead Space remake.
Yeah.
Came out in 2023. If you haven't played Dead Space,
Dead
play
Space,
it with
such
the
a good
lights on.
game.
Play it with the lights on, not late at night. And especially not if you've been drinking. Sons of the Forest came out, which is fun.
Mhm.
Not my favorite because it's survival, but it was still fun.
But you're playing Pal World now.
Which I'm playing Pal World, except it's Pokemon and I can give them guns.
Okay, that's fair.
And how this game is not getting sued by Nintendo, I don't know.
There's tons of articles on. I got into that last night trying to figure out why. It's they don't
so-
own the monster catching copyright. They're
No.
as long as they're not explicitly making like, hey, you
Yeah, as
know,
long as there's not a 1-to-1 Pikachu.
yeah.
So there
like I said,
is there's one I forget what the bunny is. It's one of the fire bunnies.
See, that's a bunny, not a rat.
It's a
Not
fire
1-to-1
bunny.
at all. That's not
The
it's not
only
1-to-1 at all.
difference
And that's
that-
fire. It's not even lightning.
The only
You don't
difference
know what 1-to-1 is.
that the Power World bunny is it's a grass type and he's green. That's the only
Fire.
difference. It looks exactly
And
the
he's a bunny.
same. So
And
and
Hey,
then
heads
the
up,
his
we
tail
got
is
about
probably
30
different.
minutes.
okay. Yep. So well, I will tell you that we will get this is the part 1 and we're only in 2023. We will do part 2 of 2024's State of the Nerd probably next week if we can get everyone together.
Mhm.
And then what was the other one I was playing? Yeah, Diablo 4. Which I really enjoyed. So okay, next. I wanted to talk about this one. Flops of 2023. Not necessarily when I say flops, not because we didn't like them, just all around did not do well, either on TV, on theater, just universally panned by critics and fans alike. I've got 2 on there. Number 1 is Aquaman. What's the new movie called? Lost Kingdom?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It just came out how many weeks ago? 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks?
Nah, it's been about
I think it's been about a month and a half. It was before
has
like
it?
12-19 or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So a month then.
month. Yeah.
A month and 3 days. It's out on digital in 2 days.
That quick.
That quick.
Well,
Yeah.
and
Go
I
ahead,
think
Justin.
some of that, because both movies you listed here are DC movies. I think some of that is with the changes in DC, and also with the HBO Max, whatever, or just Max and Discovery. I think there's a lot going on there. So I think it going straight to video or digital, whatever, has a little bit more to do with that than it being a huge bomb. But again, it was fine. And like Flash, I really liked.
I enjoyed Flash.
I'm a little biased, as all y'all can probably see,
Right.
but that it was a take of Flashpoint Paradox I really liked, that it brought back Michael Keaton I really liked. There was a lot to it I really liked. There was a lot to it that made me want to throat punch people. Like the CGI at the end, and the CGI dealing with like the babies and the dog at the beginning, and so basically just the CGI. I wouldn't
agree.
I wouldn't call it a flop, except for if you do look at the financial, it brought in less than 300,000, which is or 300 million, which is what it costs to make. So I totally understand that. But with the changeover from old DC to new DC's Snyder Universe to Gunn and all of this, like, it was put into a position where it was just in limbo. The company didn't necessarily the old CEO wanted to support it, new CEO didn't. I mean, there was so much in the background that it really didn't have a chance.
I think it's in a no-win position.
Yeah, it really wasn't. So
You think it just got stuck in a spot where it just like it it was so far into like, well, we have to make it now because we're here and we
Yeah.
have to release it to
And
try to
Well, same thing
recoup
with
something.
stuff
Well,
with
they're-
Ezra Miller. You know, a lot
Well,
of
They
them,
were
like,
waiting
and
for him to
that.
get out of jail too.
yeah.
To be fair,
And like Gunn was
Shouldn't
saying,
have. They should have moved on.
and it's a good movie, so we're gonna go ahead and release it, type of thing. And it was, I thought, for the most part. But
Yeah, it wasn't another Batgirl.
yeah, well, and that's a shame. We'll never know if Batgirl was good or not because
Right.
after they made it and they just said, no, we're not going to release that. But I think also part of it is just that toxic fandom. Well, it's not a DC or it's not a Marvel movie, so I haven't seen it, but I'm gonna go ahead and say it's the worst thing I've ever seen.
yep.
You know, that I think it had a little bit of that to it.
And the
as-
star's gay, so let's hate it.
yeah, and so anyway, saying
he's
all
a
that to say,
criminal.
I gotta defend the Flash being a big flop, and argue against it, but also kind of say, yeah, you're right.
So,
you know.
funny enough, they have announced who's going to be the new Flash in the DC universe. It's Jonathan Majors. So
That's where you're supposed to hit the laugh track.
I don't have one.
Oh, okay.
Because you're rarely funny.
Yeah, this is true too.
ouch.
Wah, wah, wah. He's right.
My biggest deal with the Flash is you can't have that without Reverse Flash, without Thawne. That was my biggest deal. I echo
He's
everything
right.
Justin said, except I would add in, you can't have that without Thawne.
Well, and I honestly, I would have enjoyed it a lot more had they brought in the whole Atlantis versus the Amazons, like in Flashpoint. Like that's, the world is being destroyed because of this. And then this is like even more so. I did
But,
like
I was gonna say,
alternate Barry's laugh though.
nice. But it was for those that weren't familiar with Flashpoint, if they brought in the Amazons versus Atlantis and all, that's a whole different storyline and a much longer movie. If they pull in from the Snyderverse and pull the bad guy from his first or second movie and say, hey, why don't we rework? So it made sense to bring Zod back and that for the completion of the Snyder universe going into the Gunn universe, if you will, or whatever. But still, it's a very
Hey, we got Michael Keaton out of the deal. We can say that.
that was great.
The girl who played
Yeah, that was
Carl was
amazing.
awesome.
She was great too.
Yeah, she was great.
I loved Michael Keaton in it. I mean, he
was
can
good.
he can rarely do wrong. So
The hobo in the Wayne Manor.
yeah,
And he got nuts. So I'm all
Yeah.
for it.
And isn't Keaton in his 70s too?
he is. Let me look. He is on up there.
Like
If he's
mid-70s?
not, he's pushing it.
Or early
Um,
70s, I think.
Let me see. He is now. Where was it here? I just had it and I lost it. God dang it. He's
on
old.
that note, on that note
72.
too,
He's 72 years old.
72. 2023 also brought us the death of the Snyderverse and the DC universe as we know it. What they call it, DC Extended Universe.
Yeah, DCEU.
EU.
I'm sad I didn't get to see the Batman that I wanted to see.
Any TV shows, movies, anything you all would consider flops of 2023?
She-Hulk.
Indiana Jones.
She-Hulk.
She-Hulk, Indiana Jones.
And yeah,
I
the
don't
new
think Indiana Jones. I don't. It's not
Yeah,
as
I'm
bad
just-
as Crystal Skull.
It was fun.
I'm saying like flop. Why? If we're going flop, I'm literally saying like what failed. Like I don't think it brought in. It might have reached what it paid, but it was like very
not
slow.
personal
like, its
opinions,
opening
but
weekend.
what
Its
fans
opening
Financial
weekend was
flop.
only like
Yeah,
60
yeah.
million, and they were thinking it was going to be 200 million kind of thing.
Isn't it funny though?
Sound
a
of
lot
Freedom
times
ate us
when
lunch.
Stuff that financially flops is what us as nerds flop to the most.
Oh,
a
yeah.
lot of the time.
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
it becomes
Except-
that's it.
Except for
It becomes
Aquaman.
counterculture to like what failed. The masses don't know crap.
they become the cult
Right.
favorites.
Yeah.
Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Mm-hmm.
Weird Science was a flop in the theaters.
Toxic
by that
Avenger.
standards. Yeah. Which
Scott
I am looking
Pilgrim.
forward to that new one. What was that?
Scott Pilgrim, Fight
Scott
Club.
Pilgrim.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's Shawshank Redemption. A lot of the movies that were like,
Right.
oh man, that's like one of the best, was a total flop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right.
So I agree with all of you that The Flash is going to be recognized as one of the best movies of all time.
Sure is.
For sure. Yeah.
I agree.
Go ahead.
Well, it's fun when we had
65.
Justin on. Well, it lasted.
That 65 movie looked freaking horrible. So I'm pretty sure it did flop.
Is that the one with Adam Driver? the
Yeah.
Turok?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
It's basically Turok, the dinosaur hunter.
Yeah, or like, isn't it about time travel? So it's like a Planet of the Apes.
Well, it's
kind
not
of-
time travel. It's some space explorers crash. Twist, it's on Earth when there's dinosaurs. What?
It's
So,
Turok.
Yeah, it's
So it is
it's one
time
of those
travel?
where it's like, the premise, okay.
Like just saying.
And here's
So-
It wasn't awful.
Speaking of stuff that we don't like, to save everybody some time, I'm going to put this out there. Do not watch Saltburn.
Oh
Okay,
my God.
no, Brandon told me
It
about
is
this.
terrible.
We were
Saltburn
talking about
was
it.
amazing.
Oh my God, Justin.
I
You
read
do it,
about the
I'll
bathtub.
do-
I
I'll
read
do
about,
the
I read about the
opposite.
bathtub scene.
I'm out.
The bathtub scene wasn't even the worst. It was
Oh.
Really?
the minstrel scene, and then the grave scene when he
There was
was
stuff worse than the bathtub scene.
I agree with the menstrual thing. That was up there. The bathroom scene for me was the worst. But then menstrual right after the grave scene was it's just all cringe, man.
yeah.
I
it
really
is.
like that actor. I like a lot of the people that were in that, but geez, I will never get that 2 hours of my life back.
I feel like I need to add it to my watch list now.
I
If you hate
haven't
it
even
that
ever
much.
But it's
seen
on
it,
Prime,
so
isn't
now
it?
it's on #1 watch with a bullet.
Is it
Yeah,
on Prime?
it's on one of those streams. I think it's
It's on Prime.
yeah, Prime.
Something
but
that-
it's- It's one of those movies where you're watching and you know what's going to happen, but you're like, they won't show that. They won't do that.
And then sure
Yeah.
enough,
And they do
Right.
go ahead and do it. And there's a reason why I think it was the most talked about movie, blah, blah, blah. I think I read that somewhere from like social media, TikTok, all of that. And you can still see most of the movie on like different TikTok. I can't believe this happened. And it will show the
there.
scene. Or
Well,
whatever.
he won an award too for it.
Yeah.
Man, my
Uh,
algorithm is way off. I have
The
not
man
heard
who
of
licked
this
the most
movie.
stuff in a bathtub. Very.
So yeah, it's the bathtub scene was weird. I mean, drinking the bathwater after he masturbates in it, that's pretty like
I was like,
Spoiler
I'm really gonna
alert,
watch it
Justin.
now.
God.
but
Oh yeah, now
But
the
that-
movie's ruined.
well, I'm just giving for those people that haven't seen it, they're like, bathtub, what are you talking about? So just to give
Really?
a little bit.
So is this Guyver's documentary?
Pretty much.
But
Okay.
it's when I saw it, I was getting strong the talented Mr. Ripley vibes. If that helps anyone that hasn't seen it, but I won't give anything else away. It's worth the watch. It really is.
It's not.
Rosamund Pike's the greatest, and
She is great.
the
137 on 121.24. We start off anew, Justin. The year of disagreement.
nice.
No. One while we're still on flops, before we move to the next thing that we didn't talk about that was kind of considered a financial flop that I thought was so awesome and was Five Nights at Freddy's.
I liked that one.
I liked it a lot. And I
was
liked we
just
got Matt Pat in
fun.
there, and it was
That
good.
game's not supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be horror and scary.
I thought
This
it
one was not
actually
supposed
did
to be
pretty
horror.
well. I thought it did pretty well at the theater.
I had seen somewhere
because
that
it
It
went
did.
straight to streaming on Peacock the same time it was released. So I thought,
Well.
man, this isn't gonna make any money. And it actually, I read that it did a whole lot better than what.
they
Matthew
expect.
Lillard was awesome in it.
What is
Yes.
he not awesome in?
I didn't even realize that was him at first. You know,
It was
like
awesome.
it was a good movie, and I think it stayed really true to lore,
Well-
and there's gonna be more stuff. So,
If you noticed in that too, he did a throwback to Scream in that.
which part? Did I miss that?
Uh-huh.
I'll be
Well,
right
gotta
back.
watch it again now.
God dang it!
At the very end, the way he's sitting with the knife.
Oh yes. I did catch that.
Does he say, I'm getting woozy here?
Again,
Wait,
movie,
man!
man.
You cut me
Like
deep.
Jinkies.
Well, there were a couple that I think I liked that were considered, well, it got some cultural or whatever blowback. But Disney movies, Little Mermaid, I thought was great. And
Yeah.
it got a lot of hate. I also thought Strange New Worlds, I loved that movie.
I
It
don't think I'd
was
never watched that one.
it was
It was okay.
it's a space exploring time travel, and I mean that's totally check off all my boxes.
It was animated, right?
Yeah, it was animated.
Okay.
Chris Evans, no, Jake Gyllenhaal and a couple others.
I need to
Uh,
watch that. Is it
but
on Disney
the
Plus?
son in it is gay, and so there's a lot of people that were like, "Wow, it's
Of course.
Disney pushing," and there was no, there weren't any scenes where he's like, "Hey, Dad, let's go, troll the streets for some ass" or anything. But yeah, it's
It would have made a whole lot better movie.
yeah. And then, did Buzz Lightyear come out this year? Or was that 2022?
I think that was 22.
Was that 22?
I think that
Okay.
I
was
think
last
that
year.
was the end of 22.
Okay, I was gonna say that was another one that got a lot of hate that I actually really liked.
Lightyear was 22. Yeah.
Okay, because Strange New Worlds kind of took over the, oh my gosh, there's somebody gay in there.
We gotta hate it because it shows
Well, and I don't think.
real
I mean,
life.
I don't think personally. I have zero problem with gay characters in movies. I'm just starting to be a little concerned that that there's so much focus from Disney Pixar on that in movies for young kids. I'm all about representation. I don't think there's anything wrong with it at all, but it has become alarmingly more prevalent with everything that comes out for young kids. And again, there's nothing wrong with it at all.
Mm-mm.
But it's just, and I'm not trying to come off like that at all. And I hope anybody that knows me knows I'm not. But
You're just expressing your point of view.
it is just, it's obviously something that should be talked about. And by having it in a movie, you do talk about it when questions are asked. But I just feel like it's consistently pushing stuff that I don't know. I just don't know. There's just a lot. And that's with anything, whether it's language, whether it's adult themes. I mean, it is not just sexual orientation that I'm talking about. There are so many things that are getting put in children's movies that I just don't know that it's appropriate for you're talking about 5 to 11 that are really watching those. They're the main audience for those. So it's just becoming more and more of an agenda from studios and everything that I don't know how much of it is necessarily needed. If it's a piece of the storyline, a piece of the literature, whatever it is, absolutely don't change anything. But
right.
I just think it's something that people are scared to talk about because of how it's going to come off. People are going to get canceled, all that stuff. And I do think it's something that you can see both sides on. And again, there's nothing wrong with it at all. But it is becoming more of a concern for me as a parent.
Well,
There's,
it's not just getting watered. I think there's a lot of it being done just for the sake of doing it and not doing it,
Right.
Not proper representation. We'll put it that way, right? Like, I don't think it always happens, but I think there's enough. Like, okay, this will get people talking for one, right? And it's if they're not doing things for representation purpose, and I think it really dilutes things like that. Like if you're wanting to represent, do representation right. Don't do it just for, well, this will get people talking and this will
Or
do
the storyline, like for Strange New Worlds, absolutely, because between Jake Gyllenhaal's character and his son, who was gay, that was a unique representation of the relationship between Jake Gyllenhaal's character and his father for very different reasons. But there were things that they didn't talk about, that they were scared to talk about. They were scared to be honest with each other, and all that played to a great piece that made an amazing movie. Zero problem with that.
Another movie I would say, if we're going off of based of money and considered a flop, Wish.
Did I watch Wish? I didn't watch Wish.
I thought Wish was great. I thought it had an amazing soundtrack.
I can't wait till it comes out so I can watch it here. But if you look at it, the way we're talking, like financially, Wish is on the flop list right now.
Right.
And then just thought of a couple other shows and movies that we forgot to mention. Elemental was last year as well. won some awards. Elemental
Much
was a
better
lot
than
better
I
than I
thought
thought
it
it was
was.
going to be. Yeah. The end of Titans and the end of the Doom Patrol was last year also. Which
Both
I love both those
very
shows.
good.
Yeah.
Very good. Was Wonka in 23 or was it 24?
Wonka was end of 23.
It's really good.
Okay,
I thought it
so
was amazing.
Wonka then too.
Wonka was great.
I'm excited to see that one. In sports, one of the biggest things for at least most of us was that WWE sold to, yes, we'll get to that in a second, BRob. WWE sold to Endeavor Sports, who is the parent company that owns UFC.
Also Arabian, isn't it? That's the Arabian owned company.
Saudi Arabian, I
Saudi
believe.
owned.
Yeah.
Saudi owned. BRob won fantasy football
By beating Hughes, right? Is that who I played in the championship?
I believe so, yeah.
Go ahead and say what you want to Hughes. Now's your
No,
platform.
it
Go
was
ahead.
great. It was great. There was a lot of crap talking up into it. Great, like Justin said, we all had. There was 3 or 4 of us had just great seasons, and then just injuries, man. Injuries plagued several teams. Mari Cooper going off and getting like 60 points in one game is the only reason I made it to the championship.
Against me.
And then CeeDee Lamb going off the next week. So
yeah, and the fantasy football was just a quick plug. Was really good this year. We first did it 3 years ago was the first year.
3 years, yep.
And then last year we got a little bit better at it, and then this year it seemed like, I mean, we had people like Shantae and several others that had been involved with it for several years that really took off this year and was making great trades and pick up on waiver and winning quite a bit of games. And so for anyone that's interested, that's listening, that wants to play fantasy football, if you've never played or if you've played for 20 plus years like some of us, it's a fun league, and it's pretty easy.
Join us next year.
Yeah, so join us next year for that. This year, BRob finished first, at Hughes or Mason finished second, and then I finished third. So that's kind of the
Where did Guyver finish?
Opposite. He was. We stopped counting after third because
Okay, too many fingers.
Yeah, if you're not third, you're last.
Hey, I did win one game this year.
One.
I won one this year. I'm proud of myself.
You should be. That's a great accomplishment. So
because we know I don't know shit about football.
But it was.
Go ahead, BRob. I know you got a comment.
Well, no, I was just going to say, as next year, so I'll be the incumbent chairman outgoing next year. For whoever wins next year, I'll have a special prize. I know we're hitting some Comic-Cons and stuff this year, so I will pony up an autograph, some autograph memorabilia to the winner next year. Something I'll figure out, depending on what guests are where this year. But there will be something for the winner next year.
There we go. Thank you, BRob.
Captured here, so hopefully it's me, so I don't have to give away anything.
Yeah, hopefully it's me, so I add to my collection.
Yeah,
OU did.
I'll
go
try
ahead.
next year.
OU did what we normally do in a bowl game and choked.
But what about the game before that? The most important.
Okay, go ahead. I know you were waiting on this. Go ahead. Bragging rights are well deserved. Go for it.
Well deserved.
For the foreseeable future, OSU has won the last Bedlam game. Probably for. I mean, I don't know. I won't say of our lifetime because we still got a good 40 years in us, but. There's no way that trap game is going to get put on OU's schedule anytime soon until they become a dominant force in the
I believe
SEC.
it's OSU that refused to sign that contract, by the way, but
no,
okay.
Fake news. There's no way. Why in the world, when you're going to lose 4 to 5 games every year in the SEC for the foreseeable future, would you put a trap game on your schedule so that you're totally out of the running for
because you guys don't want to be embarrassed because you guys were left in the Big 12.
We want to be in the Big 12.
Because that's the only conference you
Why
might
do you want
win.
to go be a
but Colorado is going to whoop you next year.
Justin has something on at the tip of his. I see it in his face. I want to hear this.
I'm just saying that we're proud of little brother over there in Stillwater. Good for them. They got to win one game, the last game, but let's not worry about like who won the most Big 12 championships, or the head-to-head, over history and things like that. You won the last game. Good job, little brother. I'm so proud of you.
The way you're
And which
saying it
one
reminds
wanted
me.
to be invited to the SEC?
No, why?
way-
So we can be like A&M or Missouri just now got relevant again.
They won't be next year, though.
No, they will not be
OSU's
next
never
year.
been relevant.
Out of all this, I just feel it's very
How
bold
many-
of
How many
B-Rob to
Sports
assume we
Illustrated
got
covers
40
have we
years
done over the
left.
last 10
Any
years?
of us.
How many Biletnikoff?
Okay,
Wait,
the way
you
Justin
quoting
said it,
Sports Illustrated, which is going bankrupt, like they know anything?
the way
I'm shocked you know
Justin,
what Sports Illustrated is, Joe.
He's
The
got
way
the football phone, B-Rob. He's got the football phone.
the
He
way
knows it
Justin
for
said
the
it, it
swimsuit.
reminds me of
Is she for the articles?
with Boney M. It's like, hey, we're gonna start a band. Take your brother, and it's when they're singing Rasputin by Boney M. and he's jumping around the stage. It's like, take your little brother. That reminds me of the way you're saying it to be Rob.
We're proud of
Yeah,
him.
that's well deserved. I mean, they
We're
are an amazing program. They have been an amazing program. If it wasn't financially driven, they would still be in the Big 12 because there is zero reason to go. You could compete for a national championship every year, because you're going to be top one or two every single year.
And especially
100%.
next year when there's going to be 12 teams going into the playoffs. So OU would definitely probably be in the playoff picture every year if they stayed in the Big 12.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just don't know how you get there if you have 3 or 4 losses. And I think that's just, if it wasn't financially driven, because the university needs money, because
they're getting paid more. They're getting paid more
murdered.
for the equal split at SEC than they were for the second biggest split at the Big 12.
Absolutely.
And you look
I
at
get it.
recruiting, you look at money, and just the SEC, and there's a lot of factors to it. Personally, I wish that OU would stay in the Big 12. I think that if was it Bowlesby, the previous Big 12, if he would have actually done his job, Texas and OU would have stayed. But it was the Big 10, basically. The Big 12 had 10 teams for like 5-6 years. Revenue was stagnant, all that. So OU and Texas saw the writing on the wall, went to where it'd be more profitable. And then they're like, oh, wait, we actually need to do our jobs. And now there's the Utahs, the Colorados, the Arizona States that make it, and not to mention Cincinnati, BYU, all of that. That's going to make
like 14 teams now.
Yeah, it's going to make it like a really good conference. Not as good as the SEC, but also it's going to make it easier to, like what B-Rob's saying. I wish OU was still there, but it is what it is.
Money side of it,
and it's going to be it's going to be interesting because every week is going to feel like an OU Texas game instead of just 1 or 2 games a year that you have to get like all anxious and worked up for. Now every week it's going to be, oh great, now we're playing LSU. Oh great, now we're playing Alabama.
Well, and there is something to be said when you look at it in other sports too. Now in football, probably 6 of the top 10 teams next year are going to be SEC, at least 5. Softball, 5 out of the top 10. Basketball, probably 2. Baseball, it's probably 8 of the top 15. So I mean, it's a strong conference, for sure. I think that it just. I hate it because I love playing OU. I wish that game would have.
I wish that game would have never stopped. Like I think it's crap that they let either one. I said it's been said that OSU is the one that said no to the contract, but who knows? Who knows the real deal? But I think that's one of those where it's like the NCAA should go like, no, you guys have to play each other. Screw that. You got a rivalry. Keep that rivalry going. Done.
Hey, SEC is lucky they got OU softball now.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
One of the other things
And
with
gymnastics.
recruiting is going to help because we're in the SEC, so we're going to recruit. It's going to be better, but also the games are actually going to be played at like the prime time instead of the 11 a.m. game all the time, or whatever, the 10 a.m. game if you're on a certain coast. So that's going to help OU in Texas also.
Yeah, I agree to an extent, but I mean, you're going to watch who you're going to watch regardless of the time. And the recruiting deal, I think it can go either way. You guys are getting amazing recruits anyway, but now you're competing against a lot larger school or a lot more, the Alabamas, the Auburns, things like that. So I don't know. I think it can go both ways.
I think the argument with recruiting is the fact that, we're getting the excellent players out of Oklahoma and Texas, but we're not even sniffing at top 10 talent out of Florida or where the major speed is coming from.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of that too is people who want to play. They want their families to come watch it. I mean, everybody.
Yeah, and they don't want to move to the
talented.
middle.
Texas
They
is
don't
the-
want to move to Norman, Oklahoma, middle of the country. There's nothing to do.
Right.
Like, I get it. I do 100% get it. But a lot of the players that are coming from those places literally know they're going to have an NFL career, and they want to be on television. They want to be seen a lot more. So it is like that is the no-brainer to go.
But
to.
if you're consistently playing a top 5 defense every other week, that running back's not going to get 1,200 yards. You know what I mean? So you're not going to have the stat line to show. And nobody, when they're sitting in war rooms, they're not always saying, well, he played Alabama, Clemson, Auburn. They're not looking Florida State. They're not looking at those. They're looking at the numbers, the yards per catch, the catches.
And they dang well should, because
So,
like how many running backs have panned out that after having 1,200 yards, like
but in
even
this day and
Bijan
age,
Robinson looked like crap like this year in the NFL.
Oh, you
in
just
this
need
day
to
and
recruit
age-
Thad.
In this day and
Hey,
age,
Thad?
it's tough to Thad from Blue Mountain State.
Oh, okay.
In this day and age, it's tough to coach. I mean, you see all these people hitting the portal in Alabama and other places where they don't want to compete. So I'm
full on. I'm one of the few. Like, I know this is going way off the rails, but I'm one of the few that fully support the portal. Because like screw you. If you came into the room, told me I'm not starting after I've given you a year and everything, you're saying, hey, we're gonna go this way. I should be allowed to leave and not be penalized, especially when the coach can get rehired by a team the next year and not be penalized. It's like these schools make too much money off of the students to not get their life looked at also.
You're watering down the game. I mean, there's got to be a penalty when there's a coach change. I'm all about that. But just because he's going to set me because I got caught smoking weed, or I should be starting because I played last year, so I don't have to go work as hard. I mean, there's just no. This is the problem with all sports, going to youth sports too. People don't want to face any type of adversity. The first sign of adversity, people take the easy way out, whether it's going homeschool, whether it's transferring to a different team because, I can get more playing time here. All of that. Nobody wants to face any adversity anymore, and it just pisses me off. And the transfer portal is a big reason why
a lot of it is fake.
Has gone down.
Adversity is how you learn.
A lot of it's fake adversity also. You paid the coach mad because you didn't listen to him, and then you get benched for 6 months, even though you're still the best player on the team. That's not adversity. That's literally someone being a drama queen, i.e. the coach. Or it's also the coach not actually being able to see what a real practice is and seeing, hey, this player's better, and it takes them leaving for the good, or vice versa. So it's like, I see what you're saying, but that's also why I'm all for the portal. If there's another coach out there offering me playtime when my career is only 4 years long, that's not adversity anymore. That's me looking at my own life. I need to take advantage.
In some instances, but
yeah.
But how much of it too is just like, I don't like what this guy's saying. I don't like the way this guy's talking to me. I don't like the way I'm being coached. This guy's too hard on me.
Okay, well, work is like that. We don't like that at work. We can leave.
Set you up to be successful in life. Most of these guys aren't ever going to have a professional career.
Yeah, but some of these that are leaving will. Like I said, that's my problem. It's like these coaches making millions of dollars literally control these kids' lives. If they can go somewhere else and get the playtime, I'm for it. Like, without getting penalized for the year. Like I said, it's all money, no matter what. Like, talk about the NIL, it's a completely different issue. But the transfer portal, I'm fine with. Like, some people do call it watering it down or whatever, but it's also equalizing. It's like,
how's it
hey,
equalizing?
I love
because
this.
I get to go to a different team where I can start instead of being benched.
It's not really that. It's going where the money is.
And that's, I think, the biggest thing is NIL with the transfer portal. Who's going to pay me the most? There was a dude, wide receiver, I think, that just transferred from Alabama to Texas, and his first day, he's standing in front of a new $50,000 Jeep that he was purchased, and given the deuces signs. Well, OSU and others, they can't compete with that. And so I think there's not to look forward to 2024 because that's our next episode, but I think there's the pendulum swung all the way from the players don't get anything. They're basically on food stamps, even though they're bringing in billions of dollars for the NCAA. And it's swung all the way over to the other side. And now it's just Wild West. Hey, here's some money. Why don't you come to my school? Well, here's
I'm here for that Wild West.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it's about time. Because
Oh,
again,
I'm not.
I love
swing
college
back.
football.
I
but
think it
also
needs
don't
to be
care.
in the middle, more regulations on
Yeah,
that.
and I think that's what's going to happen in 2024, especially with the 12-team playoff and several other things. I think it's
And
gonna
NCAA football coming back where everybody can get a piece of it.
Oof,
It already got
Yeah.
like
so
just
ready for that.
it already got
What is
like
that, July, I
postponed
think?
again, didn't it? Didn't
Yeah,
it
I
already
think
get
so.
postponed because they can't figure out the NIL stuff?
Yeah, but I
Mm.
think it's July now is the release date.
Okay, so I know at one point, literally
supposed
all
to
the
be
players were
March.
asking for different amounts of money, so
Yeah.
they're screwed. So they
I
don't know
think
how to like
traditionally it
navigate
came
it.
out in July anyway.
Oh, but yeah, they just pushed it back.
Yeah.
I think they were just
Yeah.
trying to get it earlier because there hasn't been one.
Hey,
So
the only
okay.
other thing I want to talk about sports real quick is the Detroit Lions. The
We're
two
gonna
things you can
lose
count on
today.
Thanksgiving Day
Mhm.
every year were a Detroit Lions loss and some dry ass turkey. And Dan Campbell has done an amazing job in Detroit. So I am all in. I'm wearing my Rodrigo shirt in support because he's an OSU guy. Go Pokes. So let's go. My Broncos are sitting at home fixing to cut Russell Wilson and give away our future even more. So for this weekend, I am all in on the Lions.
Lions.
Too bad.
to
Too
go
bad
back-
Baker's gonna beat the Lions today.
Dude, Baker, man, what a career resurgence, phenomenal year.
Yeah.
If he doesn't get playback or comeback
player. Oh my God, I know.
Right,
I agree.
right.
And
We need
I
to
So he's
tell-
gonna get
Baker
paid,
Mayfield.
and then he's gonna probably suck again. That's
We
what
need
my
to tell
big fear.
AWOL to get him to sign a ball for all of us.
I've got a signed jersey. So
Do you really?
Hey,
I've
go
got
back
a
go back
signed
a little bit.
Rodriguez one.
That NCAA released the new rumor dates July 12th.
Yep.
What they're kind of saying should happen, unless something else happens between now and July, which like what could happen, right?
God, I've been waiting since 2015.
13.
Okay, look at that.
Well, 13
Yeah.
also?
Wrinkly.
go.
Show some respect.
So we are
Yeah, like
at a
Marvel.
hard stop. BRob's got to go. We almost got through 2023. We still have the desk. So we're gonna try and get through. I'm gonna try and get the boys together hopefully next weekend. We'll check everyone's schedules and we'll go for part 2 and then go for the deaths of 2023 and then 2024 what we're looking forward to.
Mhm.
We want to be respectful of you guys' time. You guys, BRob, Dr. Justin, and Chof. Thank you all for being here very much. As always, they're great friends of our show. They're great friends of ours in general, and they always have really good
Mhm.
insight.
Occasionally friends of each other.
Occasionally friends of each other. But just kidding. We love Chof. So, well, most of us do.
Hey, I do want to give a quick plug, real quick, if I could.
Yes.
Oklahoma Aquarium Splash. It's the annual beer and craft beer and local food event that I help cheer every year. It's February 24th, 7 to 10. Tickets are on sale now. You can go to the Oklahoma Aquarium website. You can look on Facebook. But it's going to be an amazing event. Got 22 breweries lined up right now. Looking like we'll have the same number of restaurants. But breweries like American Solera, Stone Cloud, Marshall Brewing, Nothing's Left, High Gravity, restaurants like Yokozuna, Burn Co., Albert G's, just to name a few. So if you come and support the aquarium, the majority of funds goes to Fish Friends, which is the
food.
fund to help underprivileged schools field trips. So to help bring more students and provide more education about the Oklahoma Aquarium and the species that we carry. Thanks,
So you're still on the board?
as of right now, yeah.
Cool. As of right now. So it's a great event. And again, it supports education. Which is one thing that we're all, I can say every person in this chat is very passionate about. So yeah, you guys buy tickets. We'll get some links. We'll post them in the Discord. We'll post them on.
It's a great date night, if nothing else. It's a great opportunity. We cap our tickets at $500. So it's not just assholes to elbows in there. It's not super crowded. Nobody traditionally runs out of a lot of food or beverage, so you got plenty of time to walk around, see the exhibits, and chat with some local vendors. So
Go walk under the sharks at night is amazing.
It is really
Yeah.
cool. So, but yeah, no, we'll post some links up there, and BRob will have you plug it again next week too. So yeah, you guys, thanks for being here.
Appreciate you
BRob, I
guys.
know you got to go.
I will
with
say,
that, this
you
go
guys,
ahead.
real quick, you guys have screwed up my algorithm because I just opened my phone up to see. I thought I had a Facebook notification, and the very first thing that popped up in my feed was "Family watches Saltburn together." So there's that.
Nice.
Watch those.
Don't do it.
Those are very funny and disturbing.
Ah,
And
we're
I
good
give a
there.
shout
I
out
should tell
to,
you enough right there to not watch it.
Yeah, go
if it
ahead,
came
Justin.
up like that.
I was gonna say I give a shout out to my bestie Nora. I always have to give a shout out to her for whenever I do the podcast. So
Awesome.
Nice.
Nora, thank you for listening. Hopefully you listen more than just when that fool's on.
Yeah, but we appreciate that
Um,
also.
We appreciate it. And any
Just
of
download 'em
the
at least.
breweries, restaurants, or anyone who would like to sponsor Every Man's Guide to Nerddom, feel free. We're still looking for a sponsor since Chassis never responded.
I know. No chassis, no tushy. A lot
No
of
tushy.
crotch-based products we started trying to get at the beginning, so maybe we
Any
need to branch
Casper
out.
mattress yet?
We need to branch, like maybe like foot fungus or something.
Yeah, Tenactin.
Tenactin, fat, boom. So with that, this has been Every Man's Guide to Nerddom. Thank you, BRob. Thank you, Chof. Thank you, Dr. Justin. I'm Chris.
and thank you, Chris. And I'm Kyle. And wherever
you,
you
Kyle.
guys are, have a great evening, morning, nighttime, whatever time it is, wherever you are, and please be good to each other.
Hey, fresh cheese bag. See ya.
It could get elevated. Nerdcore could rise up. It could get elevated. Nerdcore used to be just a made up word.